I'm joined by the Scottish National Party Cabinet Secretary, Mairi McAllan. She is a member of the Scottish Parliament, so of course not standing at Westminster, but this is all about what it's like to be a woman in politics in a really high-profile job. Thank you for joining us today. Was it easy? I wonder, it's really interesting, isn't it? Was it easier for you because you had a female, at the time when you first entered politics, you had a female First Minister? Did it make it a bit easier for other women, do you think?
Good morning, Lorraine. It's lovely to be with you. Thanks for having me on. Yes, I think it did. I think that, you know, I remember working alongside the First Minister at that time, and we would travel across the country, and you could see lots of little girls who would come to meet us and how much it meant to them to look to the First Minister of their country as it was at the time, and to see that she was a woman and to tell them that they could achieve that. And I think that's really important, that people can see folks that look like themselves in politics and leading the country. It's also really important for women that women are involved in public life, because the issues that affect us are then going to get more prominence than they might otherwise do, because we know that too often issues that affect women are not readily considered in politics.
No, that's true. It just creates a different environment in so many ways. It can be quite subtle, but it is different. Now, you are not far away from giving birth, I believe, what, next month?
Yeah, that's right. I'm what my family are now calling very pregnant. So if I'm shuffling about a little bit here, I'm just trying to find a comfortable spot.
I remember it well, and I hear you, I do. It's a question, isn't it, Mairi? We don't ask this question of male politicians, or indeed men generally, and we should, and I always try to. But inevitably, people are going to say to you, how, as you know, someone who is very heavily pregnant, about to give birth, can you still do your job, and what can be done to make it easier for women in politics who have children?
I think it's a really good question. I think on the one hand, I have been really keen, Lorraine, to demonstrate that starting a family, having a baby, should not be a limiting factor in having a senior position in any organisation. Mine is government and politics, but it should apply across the board. But on the other hand, I really haven't wanted to downplay how much of a strain physically and mentally it is on women, and how much we need support. So I'm trying to be a role model, and I'm delighted that I've been able to do that. But at the same time, use the platform to say, this is a big deal for women. We need support in this period and in the aftermath by our families, our societies and our governments.
Yeah, and it's about basics, isn't it? I mean, have you got a creche there? Have you got, you know, it's talking about childcare. Can you bring your baby to work? Can you do all of these things?
So I'm organising all of that now. First Minister John Swinney's been excellent. Him and I caught up again yesterday, just as I'm preparing to go on my leave at the end of next week. And you know, his assurances that I can come back to my job, and that the government in Scotland will do what they can to support me to do that in a way that's flexible. But I'm, suppose, fortunate in that position, and I want to use my role as a politician and as an MSP to make sure that more women have the opportunity to take leave, be supported in that, and then to come back to work, you know, having that precious time with their babies, but being able to come back and contribute. As we know, women have a huge role to play in our economy and our society.
It's very interesting. A lot of women that I've spoken to in politics who either had their children while they were MPs or indeed MSPs have said that it made them better. Do you think that, I mean, it's not necessary, you don't have to have children to be a good politician, but somehow it gave them a better understanding just generally of life? You know, it just gave them another extra layer, if you like.
You're absolutely right. You don't have to have children, but I think I have been reflecting on that point. And, you know, this is a busy job. It's 7 days a week. There's no doubt in my mind that starting my family will be another pressure on that, if I can put it that way. But on the other hand, you know, I'm motivated to be in politics by the prospect of trying to make the country a better place for people to grow up in, and having my own little one, I think, will only incentivise that, and I suppose make those feelings all the more strong.
And how are you feeling generally? Because obviously we've got the general election is imminent. A lot of people are saying that's it. The SNP had their chance. Independence is kind of slipping away. What would you say to that?
Well, I know. I think I've been doing a lot of work both in government and in Parliament, but also in evenings and weekends campaigning at home. I've been what I've been calling waddling around the doors in my constituency, speaking to voters. And I think people are a wee bit scunnered with politics generally of late, but I'm increasingly noticing that they are engaging with the issues in the election, and the SNP has a lot of support out there because of the record that we've had in government, and I think because of the message we're taking into the election, which is about no more public sector cuts, support for our NHS, we're against Brexit, and we want the best future for Scotland built in Scotland.
Well, Mairi, I wish you all the best with the baby. For goodness sake, be careful on Saturday if you're watching the Hungary game. It's Sunday actually, isn't it? If you're watching the game, yeah, because you know. Might be an early appearance. But thank you so much for talking to us today. As I said, this is more about women in politics generally, no matter what party you are. Great to talk to you. Thank you. Thank you, love. And we'll be joined by members of the Conservatives and the Lib Dems next week.